Final lap of the conversation. Great conversations from the POV of the young person, and I have enjoyed myself. I still have in the studio Carbonate, political youth activist, and GJ, student journalist of the year 2018, a former NUC's general secretary, Julius Kwame Anthony, social activist, and the former NUC's general secretary. And so thank you very much, guys. And that's how. So you can send us messages now. Let me know what you think on our WhatsApp 0502-347-074. Of course, the calls are done now. Let's have a conversation quickly, and then we can wrap up. So let's start off with the noise bit, and then you mentioned let's leave noise and focus on solutions. Yeah. How do you want that done quickly before we go into conversation of choice?
I reconciled that too when you asked the question about how ready are we or what are the skills that we can pick up. And I talked about, you know, having solutions to the problems, fresh ideas when given opportunity to be able to, you know, table them, and even how to implement them. And so when you have suggestions and recommendations and solutions and tailor-made, you've wrapped your mind around how these will be implemented, you reduce the noise sometimes. Now again, I talked about my dissertation and all that, where I predicted that, you know, the KNUST clash and violence, we're going to have more of that.
Really?
Yes.
In what year was this?
That was in 2019 thereabouts.
Oh, that's forward looking.
No, that was my project work at the undergrad was in 2017 there, about 18, yeah. And then the masters, I did some bit of political communications between the two political parties. But essentially, I mean, we'll be having more of this violent protest, because then the youth gets tired of just speaking about it and would want to hit the street. But instances where we've had you know, political leaders or headship calling youth to the table, and then they giving solutions and how to implement them, we're going to have some of these things, you know, toning down or dying down. But it leads me to the kind of activism that we should adopt going forward, and not always to be hitting the street. There are times that you can call for audience and make your point across, and those deliberations or dialogue have actually ended very fruitful.
Really?
They've actually come out as one of the very important ways of getting results, where you draw people's attention to certain things if they aren't seen genuinely. But of course, some individuals are dead goats, you know, I beg your pardon, until you want to hit the street as a last resort. And that's the responsiveness that I talk about, you know, in my previous submission, that we should look at the times and when to engineer which one of them. There are times that we need to hit the streets and even perhaps shed our blood. There are also times that we need to see how best we can solve the problem, help even people in authority to solve the problem. And that's what then it becomes quite constructive. And that's what I think that, you know, activists, you know, of current time should also be looking at.